Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. I'm Resolves, and this is Trumpets' Primal Icaria deck. So I'm sort of tired of playing around in cold blood here, so I decided to give Primal Icaria deck a go because it realistically doesn't really care about it. Often the From Wardens have already done the job by the time your opponent has managed to both pop the Aegis and cold blood them, and so is the Icaria, especially in a deck where she's complemented with Starsteel Daisho and the Sword of the Sky King. The Icaria can also force your opponent into really awkward positions, especially if they've got a bunch of slow speed removal, where they're going to basically have to spend their entire turn just to deal with the Icaria in play, and then you're able to go back to your turn, just play a huge weapon and end the game that way. A couple of interesting pieces here. Got the Kaleb's Choice, which I've not really played with very often before. I tried it a couple of times in Scarecrow Beatdown, but this is pretty good, as I think it's slightly better than Unseal in certain ways, because this can actually kill a gift after the gift's already been played on you. You're able to remove an Azendale's gift with this. We're making most of the Hailstorm here, and I think that's perhaps why we're only playing one Valkyrie and Force from the deck, because we do really want to be able to have the silence effect to be able to deal with Dawnwalkers. But we don't want to go too deep and just end up having awkward hands, I suppose, where we can't actually play the Hailstorm. We're playing a full play set of Rise to the Challenges and Icarias, so we should really be able to, as soon as we've taken over the game with the harsh rule and just all the early interaction, we should be able to finish the game pretty quickly. Okay, so let's see what we can do onto the games. Okay, we're in the draw with a very powerful hand, but I think this is a easy redraw. We do really like power in the deck, but we also need to be able to interact here. And this hand's perhaps quite good as well, because we'll be able to turn 3 just Wisdom of the Elders. I could try and find a bit more action. If that was like an Oni Ronin, then we'd be in some rough shape. I think we'll keep the From Warden anyway, just because it does work so well with our weapons. And if this is like an actual beatdown deck, because they are playing Diplomatic Seal and Fire Sigil, so they must have another sort of power source in hand. Much rather have the From Warden just for their Obstinate Balth effect, where it's just going to gain you 4 life. So this is Praxis, so this was some sort of a Praxis beatdown deck. So the 2 Vanquishes are going to be pretty good, and they'll be able to really help us get in there with the Icaria. As for the most part, the main thing that'll be a problem for us will be the Sandstorm Titan. But the rest of our opponent's units, like any Heart of the Vaults, we can pretty easily ignore and just fly over them with Icaria. Just keep getting in that Warcry value. Our opponent's not doing anything, so we're just going to Wisdom the Elders here. Opponent's been rather courteous here and giving us a lot of time to set up. So I don't think we'll need the Hailstorm here, so we can tuck that away quite easily. And just sort of try and find some better power so we're able to just set up playing this Icaria on 7. Well, we don't need the 3rd From Warden, I don't think. And if we ever do, we can always just Rise Challenge for it. Okay, well, our opponent's stuck on power here, so I'm just going to not be too concerned about having the Cobalt Waystone. Let's play the From Warden, and then next turn we can play down the Rakano banner and a From Warden, seek power for a Fire Source, and just really be able to set up this Icaria. As well as just having quite a lot of pressure on our opponent here. So unfortunately this isn't much of a game for our opponent here, because they are quite stalled out on power. And if we do find a weapon, we're in great shape though. Next time we are just slamming this Icaria and just crunching in there for 13 points. I suppose that's one of the better things about this, is that playing 4 of these means that even against, it's like traditionally a hard to have game state to capitalise on as a control deck, we are able to actually just sort of get in there and turn the tide quite easily. And our opponent wasn't able to find a Sandstorm Titan or any Purifiers to deal with this, but it was a rough one for them to come back from. Okay, well, we're fighting against Science here. And that was an easy redraw. But I do get to play a bunch of undepleted power here. Just going to keep up the torch. Looks like we're against Feln, so this could be a little bit on the rough side. However, Runehammer won't be doing too much. But we are able to put us into sort of positions where we're able to use the Runehammer plus the torch to sort something out. And it's actually like a real Felnscar deck with a Crest of Chaos. They've got a nice answer to Statuary Maiden. We could get the Runehammer in there to sort of get 4 to 8 points of damage in, but I think we're going to hold back for now. I don't want to just get popped by just a Virus Favor there. Okay, well, we could really do with finding some card draw here. Or even one of our weapons like a Daisho or something. But we're under no real pressure yet, and we do have a way of tidy up the board with the harsh rule. And I thought it's quite a way away from having a champion with Aegis. Bloodcaster's annoying though. But our opponents to turn away from being able to activate it, so I think actually we'll just strategize here. And we've got the Cobalt Waystone, and we don't need any more Justice sources. So just play this down, get the face Aegis, and this will protect us both from any discard and from our opponent's Found Bloodcaster here. Whereas if they do want to use the ultimate here next turn to draw 2 cards, then they have to at least use a little bit of this turn, sort of try to do something here. But I am willing just to use some resources to get this out. If our opponent plays like a champion, we'll be able to deal with that as well. But if we can get this to trade for another card, then I'll be really happy with it. Okay, well, they're getting back at a 3/6 Bloodcaster. But they do have a 2/5 version, but that's okay. I'm just gonna chuck this down, torch this. I think we're gonna rise the challenger just so we don't get sabotaged. I don't believe we're gonna be playing against Rain of Frogs here. I think I really want to get is Icaria, but we can't actually play it yet because we don't have the other fire source. Sword of the Sky King could be pretty good as well as the Starsteel Daisho. But I think just on the edge of being a little bit risky, I think I'm just going to grab the Icaria out. We do have a lot of interaction here just to be able to sort of help us stay in the game until we're able to find the fire source, and we'll be able to chuck this down. This also tussles pretty well with a lot of our opponents' sort of threats. And there's the fire source. So we've also got a Kaleb's Choice here as well, which should be able to protect us. If our opponent's got like a Virus Favor into a Sabotage, or if they do actually have a Rain of Frogs here. Our opponent's just paying 7 there just to draw a card, which is fine by me. Pops our face Aegis, but we are going to just be getting in there with a carry now.
Rise up or be cut down.
Now, if I put it in Cold Blood's this, it's sort of fine. Yeah, they do have to spend their entire turn just trying to deal with this, and it's going to involve this Virus Favor. Perhaps we could have waited as well, just to have the Kaleb's Choice to be able to protect us from this. We've got it, and this card's definitely too good, but at least in the Icaria deck you're not actually just discarding a card as well. If we'd have waited, we'd have been able to get away with it as well. I'm happy just to take 3 again here. We've got some protection up with the Kaleb's Choice. And I'd really like to turn this into more than just a 1-for-1. Especially when our opponent does have like champions in the deck.
The found show no mercy.
And there we go, that's what I was looking for.
This ends now.
Well, this is going to be pretty rough to be able to fight our way out of now because we don't have our charge threats. Let's just counter this for now.
I'll find the truth of my bloodline.
Now our opponent's got the
Found show no mercy.
additional Primal Sorcerer. Didn't really want to be dealing with that. And Wisdom Elders on top is good. So we probably look at my Icarias just to make sure none of them got the buff, and one of them did, which is pretty gross. Going to be rough to come back from. But check out this Runehammer. We're going to have to start getting some damage down here, and just sort of leave ourselves with the out of drawing into a. Oh, well, we lose our hammer. Yeah, let's leave ourselves the out of just being able to draw into a Sword of the Sky King, just to be able to close the game out nice and quickly. I suppose we're just chucking away 2 spells just to deal with this, to buy us some time. Probably should have gone through all of their Dark Returns now, and they should be about as threat light as us.
Touch of shadow.
There's both basically a pile of removal spells, and the Rasa challenge is great because we're at 12, so we are able to just get a 10-8 Sky King. And yep, it's definitely a 10-8. So this leaves us pretty open to. Our opponent does play like 1 threat, being able to just draw a removal spell, remove it, and just kill our opponent. As well as just being big enough just to be able to fight through a few of our opponent's units, and we managed to get there. Okay, and as much as I do enjoy having 3 Wisdom of the Elders in hand, I don't think this is keepable because the power's just not quite there. Could very much see ourselves down without casting the first one. This hand's pretty much got a variety of things covered, so I do quite like this.
Die with honor.
Okay, so it looks like it's a matchup where the Hailstorm's going to be good. And if we're able to delay the Cobalt Waystones, at least we get the Face Aegis for just any sort of mortars or anything like that. Okay, so this could be rough. We could be dead before we're able to play this Hailstorm out. But let's strategize, just find some more interaction or another copy of Hailstorm just to tidy up later. And I think I'm actually quite happy to have a depleted power here. No, let's get rid of the Primal Sigil. Next time we'll just play out the Waystone and Hailstorm up whatever the mess has been left for us. But I don't suspect we'll be getting out of this too easily. I think I won't miss attack there. Or I've missed the attack by accident. I'll just keep in mind that if I get to 4, then I'll skip up the game. So sadly, it's not really a way I'm able to tell our opponent this. But we'll scout here and then we'll be able to play the Wisdom Elders. And Throne Wardens are good. This is a matchup where it's just going to sort of be a 4-4 that gains me 4.
State your purpose.
Okay, so just remember here that we are actually at 11 because our opponent has just misclicked when they meant to attack with the Oni Ronin. Oh, this is gross. Got a 6-5 here. think this is actually worth just harsh ruling. I need to think actually, is this worth harsh ruling? I sort of think that it is, because we will be able to settle up with the From Warden and the Daisho against push value units. I brought small units. I'd rather just deal with the one big thing.
This ends now.
I think we'll
State your purpose.
lay down the Warden, and then next turn just play out the Daisho. As a 4-8 Daisho is going to do some great work. For those at home, we are at 9 life here. And I think because our opponent does have charge threats, I do actually want to sit back here. I don't want to just get like a Sensaru Brigand with like some sort of weapon on it just to end the game on us.
Die with honor.
But we do get to rise the challenge here. I think it probably actually is just Icaria, to be honest, just sort of end this game as quick as we can.
Halt!
Plays down at least to force our opponent to use a spell here. So we are at 7.
Your time has passed.
Rise up or be cut down.
And I'll put our opponent in a position where they do have to actually chump here. And fortunately we managed to pull out that game. Okay, and the power's not excellent, so I think this is an easy redraw in this spot. And this isn't excellent either, but we do have a bunch of interaction against like a small beatdown deck. And against some of our more worst matchups, at least the Icaria is going to be able to end the game. Although sadly we are against a shadow deck, which means it's very likely we're going to have to deal with that in cold blood nonsense. And drawing another 8-drop is not exactly where we want to be, but at least we have a Valkyrie Enforcer here. Though I'm not super invested in just playing it out as soon as possible. And everyone's not shown us any reason that Hailstorm would be good, so we will bottom that, as we do actually have the 2 torches. If Hailstorm's good, then 2 torches would have been good as well.
Bound by our own.
Okay, so this is potentially quite busted, so we do need to actually deal with this and not really faithful. This is the high roll paladin deck, it looks like. Well, at least we're playing against the deck with justice in it, so we don't have to be super concerned with it in cold blood.
Defend the throne.
Now, unfortunately, we'll just keep hitting power here, which is exactly what we want to be doing with these 2 Icarias and this Sword of the Sky King stuck in our hand. And I think just to stop our opponent from being able to play a weapon and put this out of torch range, I'd rather just kill it now and just still have the free in play. Hopefully get like 6 points of damage in before we're able to play these Icarias down. But trading for cards is good as well. And as our opponent is playing Argent Port, there aren't any actual spells they can use here to be able to discard the Icarias. So we've at least got that for us, and it's very possible that our opponent will concede after they see the first and then the second Icaria, because they are fairly behind here. Our opponent's deck is actually pretty cool if you get to see it go off and just make a huge order of the spires. Instead, well, as well, just really going off with the
Rise up or be cut down.
Minotaur Paladin that plays a power every time you put a weapon on it. And the high roll, like really early games that it can get, is just absolutely absurd. But fortunately, our opponent didn't find that, so we'll manage to pull this one out the bag as well. Here we go. Here it starts.
Take up arms.
So this could very well be just a attack with Icaria and then harsh rule. Because otherwise, actually we can just get in for 10 and then we can probably block this. This is a rough one. If I really just like to have a bunch of war cries on top, I can just ignore this 4-5 because it can potentially get very big next turn. That's kind of the order of the spy, but we do have 2 blockers back if things get a little bit too fruity. And perhaps I should really have just actually thrown the hash rule down just while I knew our opponent couldn't protect from it. But this way, if we do find like another Icaria, that's instant death for our opponent. If our opponent just wants to play a bunch of, we can actually double block this, but a finest star would just absolutely destroys us here. So I think we'll not do that. Let our opponent go to 16 now. Attacking for 10, and if our opponent wants to really just get in there with the one threat to make the most of this Paladin Oath book, then at least we do have the Eilyn's choice, and we have a little bit of protection with the Kaleb's choice. So we get to have a little bit of a stack if our opponent has any sort of interaction here, which is not something you actually see very often in this game.
Take up arms.
Now our opponent's actually just trying to kill us here with the Ogre of the Spire. Okay, so they've not attacked with the Ogre of the Spire. So we'll just Eilyn's choice this.
You don't want to make my allies
And give our opponent the old GGs. I've actually really enjoyed how much impact that the Dead Reckoning has had on their format. With the United of the Faithful we've seen play. Okay, and this is going to be the last game of the set. Sadly, it is an easy redraw there. This hand could be a little bit questionable as well. But I think we're going to crest here, just try and find some sort of card draw or a more power. And Rise the Challenge, as much as this is good, I think I just want to bottom this. For a possible win in a position where we really have wanted that, but we do have 4 copies in the deck, and actually this is the sort of thing we want to be finding here, just this Strategize. But I am happy to play the Strategize next turn. I really like how much selection you can get with these sort of decks, as they do have Strategize and Crests. Then next turn we're able to Strategize, and if we draw like another Rise of Chance, I can actually see us bottoming this Sky King and then just finding it later when it's a little bit more relevant. I've got a Runehammer, which is probably going to be a little bit better than this. So I get to hold up the torch if any sort of nonsense goes on. But I've probably played 2 Crests of Chaos. Okay, so this is actually like a Gunslinger's deck. A lot of the Gunslingers are actually concerned with do die to Vanquish and Torch, but I think in this occasion we're just going to leave this around and we'll just Runehammer it away. But I think perhaps playing Gunslingers is good now, because if everyone's playing like 4-cost slow speed removal spells and people are moving a little bit away from Hailstorm, then it's a pretty great place to be. Just use the torch there, just so we've got more power available to us, and then Wismeralders hopefully play a power here. Our opponent does have charge threats that they can just sort of bop this with, but most of them do get answered pretty well with the cards we've got in hand here as well. And Runehammer doesn't do a very good job against grinding drones here, so the actual hard counter here. So I need to consider my options. Perhaps I'll just Rise the Challenge, just sort of finding a carry for as soon as possible.
Halt!
So just silence the one with text. And if our opponent's got a quick spell here, so if it's a torch, they have to make a decision here. Okay, so this is perhaps the Madness version because it does have Devour here. And I think I'm just going to negate our opponent's card draw there.
I'll find the truth of my bloodline.
Kill both the threats. We didn't really need to kill the ground in there, but Just get it out of the way. I don't want to just enable our opponent's devours and combusts there.
Stone Scar isn't a place for the weak-hearted.
Let's protect ourselves from sabotage and devastating setback and just get this Icaria in here. I probably could have like Treachery, I believe the card's called. The Stone Scar discard a unit spell, and that would be pretty gross for us.
End of the road, friend.
And that wasn't exactly what we wanted. We were looking more just to find an additional power. And I think this is actually fine. We'll get the Crest down. Eilyn's Choice has got the potential of being actually really good in this against this deck, but our next 2 turns is going to be tapping out for these huge Valkyries, so don't think that's something we're super concerned with. Happy just to take 3 again, it's fine. If our opponent deploys like a huge board, like a couple of assembly lines, then I will Hailstorm, but for now my intention is just to get in for 10 on the next turn. Although now they've got the 5-3 as well. I think this ball is better.
Rise up or be cut down.
Get in for 10, where we get to block the Bandit Queen. Probably just going to ignore the Champion of Chaos because we're at such a high life total because our opponent's draw didn't really come together for them. Right here we should just be able to... Okay, so they've got the Combust to kill the Icaria here. Which is pretty gross there because we are taking a bunch, but fortunately for us we've got a Icaria in the wings waiting for us.
Or be cut down.
But mad props to our opponent for keep going in there with the Gunslinger deck, as it's probably actually fine on the ladder right now. Okay, so that was Trumpets Primal Icaria. I was actually really impressed then. It really was able to just close games really quickly, even against a felon opponent who managed to in cold blood all of our Icarias. I should probably stop being so negative on the in cold blood card, but it's just really sort of ruining my motivation to try and play some new and interesting decks I've actually seen on Eternal Warcry. As I did recently craft a playset of Nostrixes, but I really don't feel like playing with them right now, as you do just get absolutely blown out by in cold blood there. And Face Aegis is just really easy to pop when you're playing a deck that has like Vara's Choice, Vara's Favour and Sabotages, and even Blacksky Harbingers. But this deck was great. I think it's probably going to be quite good on the ladder as well, so it's good against a lot of matchups here. As against like other removal piles, we've got the Sword of the Sky King and the Daishos, and they just really hold the buffs from Icarias really well. Kaleb's Choice was good in a bunch of situations as well, and even one situation where it would have been good if I just waited to have the power to hold this up. So perhaps this is another underrated gem. But overall, if you were in the market for crafting this deck, then I would recommend it. The Daishos are always safe, and so is the Icaria. As we've seen, Icaria is just becoming stronger and stronger as more cards are released. Sword of the Sky King is perhaps one of the more questionable crafts of the deck, although everything in the deck is actually worthwhile to craft. And Sword of the Sky King has got a special place in my heart. I do own 4 of these. I've even played a few decks that played all 4 as well. But okay, so thanks for watching. Happy that resolves, and this was Trumpets Primal Icaria.